Happening now at our nation's capital is a conversation about whether to raise the debt ceiling or not.
Yeah, Democrats have been pushing to lift the lid on the deficit spending, but have been met with opposition from Republicans. KIMT News 3's Alec Lisham joins us live here in studio after speaking to our political analyst, Race Hardy. Alec.
Yeah, Katie and George, I made my way around Silver Lake Park earlier today, asking folks questions that they may have about the nation's debt ceiling, which were then answered by political analyst Race Hardy. For the first time in our history, the United States government could default on its loans. That is if an agreement cannot be made to raise the $29 trillion debt ceiling. But what does that even mean? Med City resident Beth Wigand is asking KIMT News 3's political analyst Race Hardy for an explanation.
I would like, just in simple layman's term, what is the debt ceiling?
It's an arbitrary thing that Congress came up with. Congress can vote to get rid of it.
But what does it mean?
We've had, essentially, other than a few years under the Clinton administration, we've had a budget deficit every year of massive deficits. And now we're at, $29 trillion of debt. And we've got to raise it to pay the bills.
Ken Kaufman wants to know whether the issue is a side effect of big government.
Is the government too big to where they can't communicate on budgeting better?
Congress itself is not too big. 535 members is not too big to communicate. Now, maybe we're spending too much, maybe we're not. That we can openly debate. 535 people all in the same building, that's not too big to communicate. They've decided to use partisan politics as their mode of operation.
Kathy Hunt wants to know when Congress will figure out a way to pay its bills.
When are we finally going to find some kind of long-term solution to this problem?
Unless we come up with a balanced budget amendment to the U.S. Constitution, like we have in the state of Minnesota, we have a balanced budget amendment in our state constitution. We're going to have this over and over again, but it hasn't been just the last couple of years. We've been dealing with the debt ceiling for decades, and we will continue to deal with it if this is how we're going to operate.
If the United States defaulted on its payments, then Hardy says it would cause a massive recession and would ruin the nation's full faith and credit status. Katie and George.
Thank you, Alec. Now, the debt ceiling has been suspended 80 times since 1960.
The last time was in 2019 when a bipartisan measure was passed to raise the debt ceiling past $22 trillion.